Technologic.
Marketing Tech Blog.
Technologic. Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press
It is so happy.
erase it, write it, get it, paste it.
My kids love that website.
I love it too. So last week we talked quite a bit about how Site Strategics has moved into the building mobile apps for clients. So I wanted to support some of the stuff that you were doing there. I'm going to go through an infographic. I want to just get it in people's heads what these numbers are like with mobile apps. So in 2012, in May of 2012, so we're talking well over a year ago, ComScore study reported that during the previous quarter, more mobile subscribers used apps than browsed the web on their mobile device.
Mm-hmm. That makes a
So
load of sense. Absolutely.
So imagine that the transition went from web to app for over half of all mobile users. So businesses need to keep this in mind that sure they have a website, but unless they had an app, half the people they were missing out on.
Yeah.
Really important. Do you guys know how many downloads the Apple Store had?
Last year?
Yeah.
No idea.
Downloads?
No, total downloads.
14 billion.
50 billion.
50 billion.
50 billion.
God.
Google, 48 billion. So almost 100 billion there. BlackBerry puts it over. BlackBerry was 3 billion. And even Amazon App Store had 16 million downloads.
Just from the Kindle Fire?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing to keep in perspective that with 50 billion applications on the Apple App Store, do you know how many apps were available altogether?
More than babies being born daily. Well, how many?
850,000.
Really?
Yeah. So a significantly low amount. With Google, 800,000. So you were talking earlier about how there's 700 million websites.
Right.
That's your competition out there, right?
Yeah.
You know, you think about your competition and where they are. And a lot of times in marketing, we make a mistake that sometimes we push people in the direction where everybody's going. And so Facebook is big, go to Facebook. Mm-hmm. And we miss out that, hey, Google Plus is a nice niche. There's not a lot of competition there. Go after it there. Well, mobile apps are kind of the same way right now. And that's that businesses have not adopted mobile apps. Your competition has not adopted a mobile app. Mm-hmm. What are you waiting on?
Huh.
You don't want to wait on them to, you know, if you're in the if you're in the real estate business in Indianapolis, you don't want to wait for the entire real estate business to have mobile apps and then you launch yours. You want to be the first one.
And that's absolutely correct because companies believe they won't go into new waters. They have to see that terrain blazed with other companies.
And on the internet, that's the wrong direction.
You got that right.
On the internet, you want to be an early adopter. Now, granted, if you got into mobile apps a year ago, 2 years ago, you were going to pay a significant amount of money. Mm-hmm. Now you don't. You know, they have app platforms and everything that keep costs low, but keep that customization high. Even Windows Phone had 500,000 downloads, and there's 145,000 apps on it. The Nokia store had 365 million downloads, and there was 116 apps available. Samsung, 100 million downloads, 13,000 apps available. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So you really,
that's showing you consumers are hungry for anything they can get their hands on. If you can bring some good, unique content in a particular niche market,
oh yeah,
I mean, you're going to get so many downloads. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're great. You know, Apple, of course, is number one right now. Google will probably overtake it, I'm guessing.
Oh my gosh! What did you say there, man?
I do think so. Don't you think so?
Oh yeah.
Well, the Borg actually moves in everywhere. So,
and then Microsoft, the news of the week. I don't know if everybody heard about it, but Microsoft bought Nokia.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an Apple fan like me, or you're a Google fan, and you're not necessarily a fan of Microsoft, I'm telling you, this is big news. Because Microsoft has basically in the past been kind of vendor agnostic. They've built for everybody. And that's been the complexity of their software, is that they've had to build for everybody. I tell everybody that, you know, Apple has the incredible competitive advantage of just building for their hardware. Where Microsoft might have 100,000 different, devices that they have to support and everything else, Apple might have 10.
Yeah.
So as Microsoft dives into the Nokia, and they work together on devices, I'm telling you, stand by. It's gonna get pretty cool here in the next couple of years. Some of the things that those apps, 33% of apps are games. So that's significant. Entertainment, 7%, social media, 5%, lifestyle, 4%, music, 4%, photography, 4%, productivity, 4%, 3% tools. So again, even there, it's kind of flushed out. Obviously, games are a big one.
Yeah.
But between the rest of them, they really are sharing a lot of that market. So the opportunity, again, for you guys to build apps for your work or for your company and get them out there, it's incredible. A lot of these apps are simply reading apps. BlackBerry, 15% of all of their apps are book apps. It's basically, or 15% of their sales are books. So again,
and ebooks and any how-tos,
Yeah.
and just think of where your company can actually cultivate some good information. Remember all the FAQs that you would write on your website? Package that up, put it into an app.
yeah, absolutely. And even on Windows Phone, entertainment is 19% of their apps, but tools and productivity is 15%. So that's a growing market, that growing market of building tools. So when you're thinking about your app, think about how can you provide the greatest value to your customer. So in the industry that what kind of news can you give them? What kind of advice can you give them? What kind of tools can you embed in the app to make it something useful for them so that when they open that app, they're thinking about you. And then, of course, have the contact information that they can click to dial, and get a hold of you. Now the top messaging apps around the world, Facebook Messenger, 700 million users.
Wow.
Isn't that absolutely crazy? I just think it's nuts. My son got on Kakao Talk. I don't know if that's
Never
how you
heard of
pronounce
that.
it. Kakao.
Oh, these darn whippersnappers.
Basically, it was a way for him to call me from Switzerland without having to go overseas. It just went through the internet connection.
Kind of like Google Voice.
Yeah.
Or
So
Skype. Yeah.
so and it's kind of well known, I guess, in the people that go overseas that's a great way to do it. It'll actually dial your phone. It dials both people's phones and then connects you through the internet. So pretty cool.
Skynet.
Yeah. In 2010, 300,000 apps were downloaded 10.9 billion times.
That's amazing.
IDC predicts that global downloads will reach 76.9 billion in 2014 and will be worth $35 billion. And they predict that there will be 29 billion apps downloaded in 2000. Well, they predicted that 29 billion in 2011, 9 billion in 2010. So it's a 7 to $10 billion market. They think by 2015 that's going to triple to a 30 to $40 billion
You
market.
sound like Carl Sagan there.
I know, but you got to use big numbers to attract people.
Absolutely.
People just tend to ignore the small stuff. But it's absolutely incredible. They think the app stores are going to peak right now, and then social networking apps people are going to buy apps because of what they find on apps,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
which is really intriguing. Facebook Google Maps is the most widely used app according to Nielsen. The Weather Channel is a very, very popular app. So that kind of shows you it doesn't have to be something exciting or, it can just be useful. So all I want to say is if you haven't gotten into the app game, give Site Strategics a call. Get yourself a mobile app. Be ahead of your competitors. Grab that market share before it's too late.
Oh, thank you so much, Doug. I
Yeah.
mean, that's fantastic information. it doesn't even have to be us. Honestly, I greatly appreciate that. But I mean, if you're building an app or if you know a company, get that going and be able to test it out and be able to have that customer connection, because you want to have that type of loyalty. It far surpasses web traffic. They're adopting you. They're bringing you into that coveted second screen that people utilize, and it's honestly the best yield of conversion that you can possibly
if people
get.
are on a desktop, they're multitasking. If people are on a mobile device, you have their dedicated attention.
Absolutely.
You're listening to Edge of the Web Radio with Aaron Sparks. We're online with exclusive podcasts, the latest web news, and links at edgeofthewebradio.com.